practice later. But just know that if you ever have to miss, that's fine. It's not a big deal. We are constantly reviewing so many of the same things, and that's the nature of learning. We hear it the first time and we hear it, and then we hear it a few more times and it kind of starts sinking in. But if you do have to miss, just know that I record the classes and upload them to the YouTube page. If y'all have any problems getting on that page and knowing how to explore the page, let me know, or to navigate the page, let me know, and I will help you. If I need to set up a one-on-one Zoom meeting and, share my screen and show you how to do it, I try to accommodate everybody's needs and desires to help you be the most successful that you can be. My schedule can be a little bit crazy, so you might have to work with me on times, but I'm willing to do whatever I need to help you. Stay caught up or answer any questions at any time. So just know that I'm here for you. I don't do this for me. Well, I guess it is kind of for me. It's Amy and Shatiba. It is for me a little bit, because obviously I get something out of it, because y'all can teach me things that I don't know. So, but really I'm here for you. This past week, I had somebody just quit, and they brought back the Claris tablet and said, like, I just can't do this. And that made me think, I want to make sure that all of the people that are in my classes know, call me and we'll work through it. Whatever problems you're having. That's the beauty of this program, is it's modifiable to any level. Sometimes we have to break it down into just one piece or one part at a time and build it from there. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it can feel like patting our head and rubbing our belly, and it's just overwhelming. It can feel like we don't have enough legs or we have too many legs. But just please communicate with me if I can do anything to help you. On that note, Tai Chi may not be for you, and that's okay. I don't take that personal. The majority of the people that have quit Tai Chi with me has been because of this. It's too slow. I can't go that slow. I just can't do it. And so that's valid. When I did my first Tai Chi class in 2006, my immediate thought was, oh gosh, I'm not going to like this because it's so slow. And I like all the upbeat, fun, dancing, hyper, sweat, heartbeat fast. That's my kind of exercise. But what I didn't realize is that was what I needed. And so there's lots of things that we can get from Tai Chi. And as long as we're following principles, we're going to get those things from Tai Chi. And with an instructor who cares, and I will help you get what you need out of Tai Chi. So with that said, let's start class, unless anybody has anything they need to say or want to say.
I have to brag on my swim team.
Okay.
We went to state meet, just got back late last night. We finished 15th overall.
Yay!
And we took 6 kids, and all of them made finals. So that was a huge thing for medium-sized public school.
That's exciting. I mean, when you work so hard in just about any sport you play, it's year round, in one way or another. And so to be able to go to compete and go, yes, and be proud and know that hard work paid off, that feels good. So congratulations to them. That's awesome.
Yeah, the kids did awesome.
Thank you for sharing that. I love to celebrate hard work. I'll celebrate it if they come in last place, because heck, they did it. They didn't just sit on their tail with their,
they showed
finger
up.
up their nose.
Yeah.
Anybody have anything else before we walk around, warm up? won't be too hard to warm up today. It's not as cold as it has been. It's not a hot summer day by any means, but I always know whenever it's cold outside, it just takes a lot for me to get this body warmed up. But we always want to make sure that we're warmed up whenever we start any exercise program, getting those muscles that where they move a little better and less likely to injure. What? We noticed you haven't opened these in a while. Good Lord. Not now. Computer? I tell you, with Tai Chi, it's a big lesson in body awareness and the way we carry our bodies, not just in Tai Chi class, but out there in the world. And I have noticed that especially this past week, in the gym, lifting weights, I'll tell you about this particular exercise that I was doing and how I kind of got tickled because I'm like, it's like I'm starting Tai Chi. So it was at a one of the cable machines at the gym. And what I was going to do was it was like a bar and I was going to pull it down like this, pull down to work my triceps. So what did I do? Okay, shoulder width apart. I had my posture. I made sure I wasn't holding any tension in my shoulders. I engaged my core muscles and then I was ready. Then I held that bar and pulled it down. And when I pulled it down, I made sure that, soft bend in my knees. So I got tickled whenever I did it. I'm like, hey, that's what we learn in Tai Chi. And it's all about being aware of how you're holding your body, and it sets you up for success. And our goal here a lot of times is falls prevention, but success in holding our bodies so that, okay, let me back up. If I were to hold my weight on one leg, that's going to start putting pressure on my hip. You know, if I'm just standing here talking, I got my hip popped, and the longer I sit here, the more and more pressure is going to be on that hip. If I learn to widen stance, put weight on both legs, it takes the pressure off that one hip joint, centers my weight over my body with my legs, and then I don't have that pressure, which can lead to pain and problems. So just keep those things in mind as you set up your body to do things. Even if you're driving, to make sure that your hands are in a position or your shoulders aren't holding any tension. Those are the things we learn in Tai Chi. It translates everywhere that we take our bodies. All right, we're good and warm now, right? So let's go through our warm-ups. Once we get in that nice stable stance, no tension in our shoulders, soft bend in our knees, weight on both legs, and we're breathing. Just at a nice pace, whatever feels natural for you. The more you incorporate diaphragmatic breathing, great, but as long as you're breathing, that's what's most important. So let's start with our neck. Neck exercise. shoulders. Giving you a chance to experience that jing, Jing, the mental quietness. Small circles, forward first and then back. I like this movement for resetting posture. Especially if you've been kind of in a comfy chair and you get your body all out of sorts. Stand back up, roll forward first, and then roll back to reset that posture. Big shoulder circle. Thinking about breath. Even gentle resistance as we move our hands up and down. Go to our ball, stretching our spine vertically, keeping that soft bend in our elbow. Inhale and exhale. Exhale on the push. That's just the way I like to inhale at the ball and exhale. Just feel like I get that deeper stretch in my spine. Back to our ball. Let's take it on a ride, side to side, staying within our frame. We may think about those words, slow, smooth, continuous, as we switch our hands. Raise your core as you go side to side. Keep those shoulders tense free. Back to center. Now for our hips. So we're moving into our lower body, and this is where it gets a little complicated because we start doing all this weight shifting. We shift our weight. That upright posture. Easy to lean when we start doing these moves with the weight shifting. Challenging that stabilizer leg to hold our weight, getting those muscles stronger. Shift, and let's do that other leg. Side to side, shift, staying within our frame, tapping that toe out, staying upright. I hear all the creaks and pops of all my joints now that I'm being so quiet. Y'all may feel the same. Y'all may hear your joints creak and pop. Now for our knees. Shift, lift, tap, and punch. So you're in control of how high you tap that foot out. You may pretend there's a cup out there on the floor. don't ever try to put an actual cup out there. It gets you all messed up. You're more worried about that cup than anything, and that's not the point. So an imaginary cup is better. Ask me how I know, because I tried it. And I could never get that cup in the right place, and I lost the whole point of this movement. And yes, the point is to warm up, stretch our knee, but there's that weight shifting, testing the strength of that leg as we move the other one out. And sometimes we can raise it a little bit higher. That even challenges us more. So I encourage you to challenge yourself, but be safe. So when we challenge ourselves, that's when we grow. All right, let's shift, step, shift and punch, keeping both feet flat on the floor. When is my family going to learn? Now, I teach class from 9 to 10 on Fridays. Last week, my husband called me, my son called me, and my daughter texted me all in that same hour. And after class, I said, sorry, I missed your call. I teach class 9 to 10. Now my husband's calling. That's why my Fitbit was buzzing. Keeping your feet flat on the floor may be a challenge, and pay attention to if you're doing it or not, because sometimes in our head, we will be thinking that foot is flat on the floor, when in reality, we're lifting it up a little bit. So it's a staggered stance, feet flat on the floor. It's a weight shift a little bit. You're still going to have some weight on the back foot. You want to keep that knee from going past your toes. That's why it's great to have a picture or a video of yourself. Right now, I can see myself on camera as to where my knee is. We don't generally look down, because when we look down, it's like going towards falling. So we want to keep our head up if possible. But keeping that foot flat on the floor, or both feet, is grounding. As soon as I start pulling that back heel off the floor, I'm going to be dramatic. You see the lean. It leans me forward, which of course isn't stable. It's going towards falling. So just make sure you're keeping those feet flat on the floor as you shift weight. And also being mindful, if you have that problem with that leg locking, I told you last week, you may step your feet closer together so you can still keep that soft bend in your back leg. The soft bend on the back leg, that's not like a rule, but if you're having a problem with your leg locking, then you want to make accommodations so that the movement works for you. And so we can always make those modifications for your needs. Okay. I don't even know if we did three per side. We'll just do a couple, throw them in there. If you've done it, then feel like I've talked more about it than actually did it. But I love this movement because of the weight shift sideways, and then the weight forward, and then the weight back. So you get so much opportunity to shift weight. To me, that's the name of the game when helping increase our muscle strength so that we're less likely to fall, is being able to shift weight from leg to leg, hold our weight on one leg while we do something with the other one. So I love that movement for that. Now for our ankles, shift the weight, rock the foot. And side to side. Shake it off. So we are ready for our, let's do our basic 6. Told you this week we'd focus more on our advanced 6. Especially thinking about gentle resistance. Okay, getting the most out of the movements. That's the name of our game with this. Basic 6. All right, from the top. Nice stable stance. We're breathing. And commence. Open and close. I'm sorry, I need to move to the left a little bit so I have room for my waving hands and clouds. Single whip. Waving hands and clouds. Close. Single whip. Waving hands and clouds. Close. I know I talk a lot about keeping a soft bend in my knee and a soft bend in my elbow. Make sure also you're leaving some armpit room too, that you're not collapsing your arms into your sides. That when your hands are up, yes, your arms are down, but they're out a little bit from your body. And so you have some armpit room, and that allows that energy to flow too. Just keep that in mind. I think about it mostly with the open and close. So we're not down here, we're open, close. All right, any questions or anything that you need me to talk about with basic 6 before we go to our advanced? Because we can spend a lot of time with our advanced 6, and we've probably had the least amount of practice with it. All right, very good. So you know that when we do our advanced 6, we go to the left first and then to the right. And we start with brush knee. So let's talk through the movements first. We have brush knee. We start from open and close, so our hands are facing each other. Our weight is on both legs. We shift left, our right toe turns in, and when that right toe turns in, I'll reach out right, and that left hand comes to protect my elbow. So that's that first move. Now that may hurt your knee. If you don't like that movement, you can shift left and step out a little bit. So that our goal is to go from front to face to the left without just jumping to the left. So we have to do that by shifting weight and moving our feet around. So if you need to widen that stance for the sake of your knee, that's fine. So there are some movements that you may think, ouch, I don't like that. I feel very unsafe. If that's ever a thing, let me know. We can work through some things. But that was something that came up with somebody who had a knee replacement, and they just didn't have that mobility to be able to move that way. But I think of that foot as an arrow. Hey, we're fixing to go that way. Let's take that foot arrow. We're going that way. When that arm reaches out, we still have a soft bend. So we're not out, we're not locked. We try not to lock our joints. We reach out, and this left hand protects that elbow. used to I would say lay hands because it kind of looked like dominoes. But when I lay hands, and that's not wrong, I'm not saying that's wrong. When I just laid my hands were in the position that was correct for the movement, but I was missing something. And what I was missing was that gentle, resistant part of our principle. And so now I say reach. So it looks the same, quite possibly. You may see a little bit more movement, that reach out, and that's the resistance that you're seeing. I'm utilizing muscles that I don't necessarily have to use to get my hand in that position, but just by using and thinking of another word, reach. So I do that with that right toe turning in. Shift left, right toe in and reach. And feel the difference, just placing your hand in the position and then reach. You feel those extra muscles. So why not? Why not use those muscles? So shift left, right toe in and reach. Shift right, and then I call this separate and prepare. The left hand is going to come down at my hip. That left foot is going to come in to my right. So that's separate and prepare. You can skip that movement. Hold on. It looks like, I'll show you two ways. Brush knee, shift, separate, prepare, step, shift and push. So that had that separate and prepare. Or, and I think this is how Dr. Lamb does it on his videos. When we're in class and we are being instructed by Jocelyn, she teaches us that separate and prepare. But in Dr. Lamb video, he does this. He goes ahead and steps. He doesn't bring that foot in and then step out. Same thing with our single whip. Okay, so we have our single whip and we bring that foot in. That is not a stable stance. So you may have a hard time bringing that foot in. So don't. If that feels very unstable and unsafe for you, don't do that. Now, do we want to test ourselves? Maybe with the safety of a table, maybe with the safety of a chair. Absolutely. Let's test ourselves. Hey, let me see if I can do it now. Oh, I wobbled a little bit too much. But I survived it. Okay, very good. It's no shame in grabbing onto that table, grabbing onto that chair to be able to stay upright. So yes, we want to challenge ourselves. But yes, I acknowledge that is not a real stable stance. But I call it separate and prepare, and we are preparing to step to go that way. That is where the movement gets its name, is brush knee. So I always thought, what a weird name, because it feels almost like it should be brush ear, because this hand comes back and pushes kind of right beside our ear. But the brush knee is here. Shift. Boom. All right. So remember, it's the fight we're never going to have. They're coming at our knee, and we do not want them to hit our knee. So we brush them away. You see, I pull my foot back to keep that imaginary person I'm fighting from hitting my knee, and this hand took their foot and pushed it out of the way. So the brush knee, that's where that movement, the name of the movement comes from. And that is the premise behind this. On these advanced 6, if you think about it like a fight, then I think it's going to click easier and better. If you think about it like a dance, I think it clicks easier and better. but this is based in a martial art, even though we're never going to fight like this. So if you think about it like a fight, I think it'll be easier for you. And so this first move, brush knee, they were trying to get you, and so now you're mad. So you're going to come at them, step, you bring this around and you push, follow step. So that's our first attack. We responded to their attack and now we attack. So we're mad now, right? Again, talking through that movement. Shift left, right toe in and reach. Shift right, separate, prepare. Step left, bring this right around. Shift as I push and follow step. So that push is another gentle resistance word. So when I think push as I place that arm out, then I use muscles that I don't necessarily have to use to do that movement. So I'm making that movement more. Again, upright posture. Here's my hand engaged by my hip. This hand comes around. I shift as I push. So these movements in Advanced 6, typically there's some going on with our upper body with a weight shift in our lower body. And so we want to connect the upper body movement to the weight shift that's happening in the lower body. So I'm shifting as I push. Remember, we don't lock our elbow. And the follow step is that period. Boom, period. The follow step foot never gets weight unless it's for safety, but we don't put weight on the follow step foot because it's our next step. So all the way through this, anytime we say follow step, there's no weight there because it's the next step. Because that foot doesn't get weight, it leaves our other leg holding our weight for a little bit long, right? That's good. That challenges it. That challenges that leg to hold our weight. And we're increasing our chance of being strong and not falling. Brush knee. Shift left, right toe in, reach. Shift right, separate, prepare. Step left, bring this right around and push as I shift. Follow step. There's the period. That's our brush knee. That's our goal was to go from facing front to facing to the left. And we got there by weight shifting, moving those feet, keeping that body upright. But so upright posture that whole time. There's that tendency to want, as we shift forward and take that arm out, there's a tendency to want to lean with the weight shift, to lean with that push. And if we were in a real fight, we probably would lean more into it and just really attack. But that's not really what we're doing. Even though it's based in fight, we're keeping that body upright. So keep that in mind as you shift and push, follow step. So challenge yourself to not give in to that push and lean. Upright posture, step, shift, push, and follow step. So once you finish the push, it's time to put a period on the end of that movement, and that's what that follow step is. Keeping in mind that back foot has only enough space for a piece of paper, like it's that close to the floor. So it is grounded. Your heel is grounded. Boom. There's no weight there, but your heel is down. Any questions about brush knee? Remember, we do it to the left, and then in a minute, we're going to do it to the right.
Jennifer, I don't have a question. It was just that I was getting confused because of the way we were doing it way that we were doing it in your last teachings when we finished it. Remember, we were doing it with mirror imaging. So when you came back and you were doing it the different way, I was having trouble with my arms on which way to go. And it was feeling uncomfortable to me because I was so used to you mirror imaging.
Mirror
I was
image.
using the wrong hand. And so it was making it difficult for me.
So doing it this way, okay, so you know how mirror image just blew my mind, Miss Gwen. Like,
Right.
I still don't understand what happens on this computer. I still don't understand why when I look at this on that computer, it's backwards, but when y'all look at it, it's not backwards. So I don't understand what happens in the world of computers when when it goes from my video to you.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. So I was like, well, maybe I'm sitting here spending all this time doing mirror image and my computer is doing the work for me. So I still don't know. I really don't know if I should be doing mirror image, which is not a problem for me. I taught myself to be a really good liar. Y'all know that. And whenever I said, which I don't know if I could do it now, on the cuff, that we go to the left first, and we shift left, right toe in, shift, separate, step, shift, and push. Would y'all rather me teach it that way?
No.
Okay.
I don't. It's just
Okay.
that I had to,
But I
had
know
to
that that's how I did
separate.
teach y'all last time.
Right.
So I said, well, when these new classes start, I'm not going to do mirror image, and I'm going to see if anybody notices.
Yeah.
Because I honestly think my computer is turning me around and making me your mirror image. And I don't know why. I don't know how that works. But somehow magically it is.
It just clicked in a few minutes ago when I started. So okay, then you got the wrong hand for the wrong foot. And so it clicked.
And here's what I will tell y'all. My brain doesn't deal mirror image. So I remember being in person and my instructor was in front of me saying, shift right, step left. And I'm sitting here looking at her like, why is she saying shift left when she's shifting right? Like my brain turned her around. But not everybody's brain does that. And so Jocelyn tells us to teach mirror image, but mirror image doesn't work for me. So I'm certain when we have 5 people in a class, some of y'all don't understand why I'm saying left and moving right, and some of you are like, I don't see the problem. I totally get it. But that is something I learned about our brains, is how they accept mirror image. Because my brain does what it does. Anyway, here's what I'll say to that. If you go to the right first instead of the left, it's fine. You're fixing to go to the other side next. When you're in a room of people doing the same Tai Chi, it does change things because everybody is going in that same direction. And it's different whenever you're in person. This virtual land, it can be so confusing. You are by yourself. You see me on a computer screen. So what matters is that you are doing balanced Tai Chi, whether you go to the left first and then to the right, or the right first and then to the left. You're doing it both ways. Your body is getting the experience of both ways. So of course we want to do it correctly. I know that, but I don't want you to get so frustrated that you don't do it because you're too worried about if you're doing the correct way first. I'm just giving you permission to just do whichever and just do the next whatever next. I'm saying the right things, I'm doing the right things, and how y'all see it is coming through as mirror image. And that's weird. I know. So just hang tight, be patient with yourself.
Okay.
Let's go through our brush knee as we transition into play the lute. So I'm spending more time doing instruction with our advanced 6 because I know we have the least amount of experience with a base or with our advanced 6. Because in a 16-week class, typically we spend the majority of it getting comfortable with basic 6. We kind of start our advanced 6. We may go through all the moves, but then we don't practice it. So we have the least amount of experience of practice. So this is just good reminders of the actual movements of our advanced 6. And then hopefully when I get through this with y'all, we'll just go through and go through and go through and let the new lessons come to us. So brush knee, shift, turn and reach, shift, separate, prepare, step, shift and push, follow step. All right, play the lute. We know no weights on that right foot, and it's our next step, and it steps back. When we step back, our hands go from here, and I'll say turn hands. So now our palms are both in. They're preparing to pass each other. So they'll pass, and then we stop at that elbow. This is play the lute. Our next 2 arm movements are the same. They're just called parries. And we just change the direction of our hands. Flip it, parry. We get to that elbow, we flip it, and parry. So 3 times in a row, our palms are facing as they pass, and we stop at the elbow. Whether we're up and down vertical, or horizontal this way, or horizontal this way. So 3 times in a row. Boom, boom. It's just called play the lute, and then it's called parries. Okay. So we finish brush knee. Or play the lute. We step back, turn hands. We shift to our right foot or our right leg as our hands pass. And when we get to that elbow, we follow step left. And again, that's the period. No weight on that left foot. Only a piece of paper would fit under our heel. That's play the lute. Now we're ready for our parries. So let's put those 2 together. Brush knee and play the lute. Shift left, right toe in and reach. Shift right, separate, prepare. Step, bring this right arm around. Shift as I push, follow step. Play the lute. Step back, turn hands. Shift as they pass and get to that elbow, follow step. Again, body stayed upright, no tension in those shoulders. Play the lute. Brush knee. Play the lute. So right now what I'm doing is moving in a very choppy way. I'm doing the shift, I'm doing the duck, 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 and done. So I'm breaking it up because that's how we learn. Break up all the pieces and then we start making them smoother in time. Play the lute. Step back, turn hands. Shift as they pass to the elbow, follow step. The parries throw off the rhythm. In our advanced 6, we have step, shift, follow step, step, shift, follow step, step, shift, follow step. And then our parries go, no, step, shift, follow step. So it has a step shift and a step shift thrown in there. So our rhythm is kind of thrown off with our parries. But arms, we're here at the end of play the lute, flip, parry, flip, parry. The arm that is outreached stays there and becomes a guard. And when that hand becomes a guard, then our other hand reaches back to our back pocket and comes and delivers flowers to the, our wrists are over top of each other. Our hand, it's like we are able to hold flowers. If we were holding a bouquet of flowers. Something to keep in mind with this movement is it is a punch, but I use the word deliver because I pretend I'm grabbing flowers from my back pocket and delivering those flowers. So you see how it comes straight. What I don't do, and what sometimes happens, is people come and they hammer down. Well, you're not going to hammer, you're not going to hurt yourself, and that's what you would do if you were hammering down. So make sure you kind of float over top of that guard and end where your wrists are hovering right there beside each other, holding those flowers. So it's parry, parry, and deliver, or parry, parry, and punch. Our footwork is step, shift, step, shift, step, shift, follow step. Those shifts happen with the arm movement, okay? So let's get back to our play the lute. So right now, all my weight's on my right foot. My left foot has follow stepped, no weight there. That was the period at the end of that play the lute. My left hand is extended. My right hand is protecting my elbow. Step left, lift my hands. Shift as I parry. Step right, lift my hands. Shift as I parry. Step left, put up that guard. Grab my flowers, shift as I deliver, and follow step. All right, let's do that again. At the end of play the lute, again, weights on my right leg, left foot, that was my follow step. Left arm extended, right hand on my elbow. Parry, punch, step left and flip, shift and parry. Step right and flip, shift and parry. Step left, put up that guard, grab my flowers, shift, deliver, follow step. It's the most complicated move, I think, of the series. And once we do and deliver, I feel like we can take a big sigh because we're like, oh, we're home free from here, because now it's a step back, release our hands, shift as they come down to our hips, follow step, then push the tiger or push the mountain or push the tiger up the mountain, step left, push as I extend those hands up, follow step, and now I go to the front, step, shift, hands face, open and close. So that's our advanced 6 to the left. All right, so let's practice those movements. From the top, brush knee. Play the lute. Step back, turn hands. Shift as they pass to the elbow, follow step. Parry, punch. step and flip, shift and parry, step and flip, shift and parry, step and guard, shift, deliver, follow step. Block and close, step back, release hands, shift as they come to my hips, and follow step. Push the tiger, step left, push as my hands extend, follow step right to the front. Hands face, open and close. Questions about those movements? All right, let's practice again. Brush knee, shift, toe in and reach, shift, separate, prepare, step, bring this around, shift as I push, follow step, play the loop, step back, turn hands, shift as they pass, follow step, parry punch, step and flip, shift and parry, step and flip, shift and parry, step and guard, shift, deliver, follow step, block and close, step back, release hands, shift, follow step, push the tiger, step, shift and push, follow step to the front, step, shift, step, hands face, open and close. So once we know for sure the parts and pieces of those movements, then we can dive into them with our principles. And I love to explore gentle resistance in advanced movements. And I love to think about the nature of this yin yang with light and darkness, positive, negative, hard, soft. Opposites. And so with our advanced 6, there's a softness to the movement. And when we attack, as if we were in that fight, there's kind of a roughness to it, like that push, a softness to the transition, and that hardness, soft, hard. Soft, hard, soft, hard. The softness and hardness of the movements, but it's all because of gentle resistance. The transitions of our hands are somewhat soft, and then the movement as we shift weight, there's a hardness to that movement. If we add that gentle resistance, then we can practice that principle with our movement control. I just love to practice gentle resistance in our advanced 6. When we really start thinking of it in terms of a fight, then that gentle resistance kind of makes us like a fierce fighter in our Tai Chi. And so we think about it like that. Shift. Yeah, you're ready now in that gentle resistance. Boom. 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 So when you add that resistance, it makes you the winner of this fight, right? Push. And I know we're not fighting, but when you think of it as a fight, you can really dive into that resistance piece of it. Because, man, you're pushing them. You're grabbing them. You're stabbing them in the eye. You're going at it, right? So we're going to explore more of our advanced movements especially with gentle resistance. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page and feeling comfortable with the specifics of the movement. So next week, we're going to do it to the right. It'll take us less time because it's the same as the left, but I'm not just going to throw it at you and go, oh, it's just the same as the left. So, you know, what's your problem? It feels very different to go to the left. Matter of fact, we can just go through it real quick, then we'll cool down. So let's go to the right. Here we go. I'll talk you through it. Shift right, left toe in and reach. Shift left. Separate, prepare, step, shift as I push, follow step. Play the loop, step back, turn hands. Shift as they pass, follow step. Parry, punch, step and flip, shift and parry. Step and flip, shift and parry. Step and guard, shift, deliver, follow step. Block and close, step back, shift, follow step. Push the tiger, step, shift, follow step to the front, step, shift, step, hands face, open and close. And close it out. So there you have both sides if you want to come back to the video and practice going through those movements. But without learning and knowing the movements themselves, you can't get to exploring principles. Your brain is in a whole different space when you're just thinking, okay, what's next? Okay, what's next? If you have to write on a piece of paper and tape it to the wall to keep from your brain having to work, I recommend that. I've done that. I mean, okay, here's my secret. You see this? That's my brain over there. All the things that I can refer to and remember to say, and I don't have to sit and think, what principle am I forgetting? Because it's right there. It's right there in eyes view. And so you can do that in an in-person class as well. Practice it at home. Having that in front of you, it's a cheat sheet so that your brain can do something else. Our brains can only do so many things at one time. So we have our directions, step and switch, turn, shift. I'll never leave this poster out of my practice, even though I can wave hands in clouds like a boss. I like the reminders of what these movements are. Sometimes it's a matter of writing the names of the movements, right or left beside the movement, so you know what direction to go. So those are some tips on helping you get there. All right, let's cool down. Give ourselves a nice fist massage. Any questions or anything that y'all want to say or share? All right, gather tension and let it go. Gather and let it go. We don't want to live with tension. Big circle. We know this movement's important. We do it as a warm up and a cool down. One more. We take our right fist, represents our strength. Our left hand, fingers together, representing our friendship. Thumb in is our humility. Strength, friendship, and humility. And we put those together, and in mutual respect, we say namaste.
Namaste.
So I hope that y'all have a wonderful weekend. I think we're going to have pretty weather. There may be a chance of rain, but it's starting to really feel good to have a little bit longer days. We've had a little bit more sunshine, and I can feel it in my heart and soul, just that little extra daylight and sun. And so I struggle with the seasonal affective disorder when it starts being dark and cold and gloomy. And so I'm feeling like I'm coming back alive. So I hope y'all are not the sad. I don't wish that on anyone, of course, but I know everyone can experience the joy of sun.
It's supposed to rain here the weekend. We're gonna rain this
I
weekend.
think Sunday there's a chance. I mean, we're from all over the state. We're headed to Valdosta to go to dance competition, but so you know, I think it's like 30-something% chance of rain there. Oh, whatever it is, just enjoy it. And I'll see y'all next week.
Jennifer, stay tight for a second. I want to ask you something.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, do you want me to end class and just leave you on here? Okay. All right. Well, I have a special meeting. I will see you, Gwen, Sharita, and Lance next week. Love y'all.
Okay, bye-bye.
They can stay. I just didn't think you wanted to record it. I just had a question.
Oh, okay. Okay.